Hi, I'm Rosh from Energy Matters. Welcome to our podcast, Road to Zero, where we dive headfirst into all things renewable. Join us as we chat to industry experts, tech specialists, and some of your favorite TV and radio personalities, asking the renewable energy questions that you want answers to. Our goal, a zero carbon future. In this episode, I am delighted to welcome my good buddy, John Wright, Marketing Manager for Goodwe Australia. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Roshan. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. And I say good morning loosely, but it could be good evening, depending. All will be revealed later on when this gets released. So, John, I obviously know you really, really well, and anyone that's in the sort of renewable energy sector would know you from in and out the traps, the exhibitions and whatnot. But I think just for anyone watching today, where this is their first experience of Goodwe and first experience of chatting to you, give us a little bit of a breakdown on your career today.
Well, as you can tell, I'm a fellow POM, although your accent's just sort of easing out now. It's definitely become full-blown Aussie. But no, I've been in Australia for 8 years. I started my career, obviously, back in the UK in the early 2000s, joined a small agency that specialized in engineering and technology companies. My initial background was design and photography, so that was what I was brought on to do. And over the years, I obviously grew my skill set and portfolio and ended up being account manager for companies such as Fanuc Robotics, Rolls-Royce Naval Division, the UK's Manufacturing Advisory Service, Criminal Justice Board, things of that nature. So it's really nice variety, very, very interesting work. And from there, I got approached to be the global marketing manager for a company that supplied rental equipment for the oil industry. That was based in Dubai. So I moved to Dubai for a few years. And that was certainly a different experience.
That would have been nice.
Oh, yeah, it's great. I think for someone who is looking to really sort of get their eyes opened and work in a completely different culture, it's a great experience. It's a very fun place to live. Obviously, it's a great opportunity because it's a bit of a tax haven. It's a great opportunity to save some money. But more so because we had global offices in the Middle East, Far East, Africas, and the Americas, I was able to learn a lot by managing those different regions and how they worked. I learned very quickly that they operate in different ways. A great example would be exhibitions and events. The flavors and the way they do things, say for in South America and Brazil, which I was fortunate to go over for. It's very much a social event. Every booth is a bar, pretty much. It's a very, very social atmosphere. And on the flip side of that, Abu Dhabi, very formal, very business orientated, as you can imagine. So yeah, that was a great experience. Moved back to the UK, met my now wife, and I became an expensive souvenir. So moved to Australia and kind of stumbled into the solar industry, really. I got a marketing position at Empower, a distributor. And from there, I moved on to Selectronic, off-grid specialist with the SP Pro, and spent a number of years there. That was a great experience, a bunch of great guys. And then, yes, I found out about Goodwe, and I thought this was a logical next step in my career.
And with Goodwe Energy, I mean, what actually had you choose Goodwe? I mean, at that time?
They're a big company, but I saw a lot of potential. The way they were doing things was a little different, which I liked. And definitely, I think outside the box type of person. I like challenges. I like to think creatively, hence my background. And the team as well is a very youthful team. They'd all been in the country, like a dedicated Australia team had been in the country for less than 10 years at the time. And yet they'd already grown and they were continuing to grow. And I just saw a lot of potential, exciting opportunities there. And yeah, I like a challenge. So yeah, plunged headfirst into it. And yeah, it was a great decision, and surrounded by an amazing team, really tight knit, very, very sort of not informal, but we respect each other. And it's just a great, positive, creative environment where everyone supports each other.
I mean, I love all of our partners, and we have a lot of manufacturing partners. But to be fair, I mean, and I especially do love the relationship I have with you guys. I mean, as you said, it's just such a lovely environment. It's so positive, very supportive, and really just moving forward the entire time. I mean, having known you for a reasonable amount of time now, you definitely are an out-of-the-box thinker, and you can really see that relation. The way you are and your approach to marketing. I don't know if I don't know, not good by saying you're driving that, because the team's amazing and the entire team's amazing, but it certainly is a really good marriage of personalities. You being out the box thing, in terms of your thinking and your thought process, and Goodwe just being such a pioneer for for different ideas, for change and transition, and just really focusing more not on just okay, let's sell as much kit as possible, but how can we make a difference? Which I think is one of the biggest reasons we get on so well as partners. Energy Matters, a zero carbon future. And it's almost like me looking in a mirror when we work with you guys, because you're focused on, yes, being successful as a business, but also making a massive difference. We'll talk about it in a second, because that will lead on to an initiative that you've just recently launched. But just quickly, just for my own knowledge, I mean, what do you love most about what you do at Goodwe? I mean, what is the thing that you love the most?
One of the main things which has been really, really great, and obviously we work very closely with our headquarters in China, and obviously there are other global teams around the world for Goodwe, and each has their marketing manager, and it's great because we have a WeChat groups of various different themes, marketing, international sales, things like that, but we all talk to each other, which is really great. We all share ideas and all encourage each other and celebrate each other. That's one thing I really enjoy. Any person that is hired to Goodwe, from be it someone in production or R&D, admin, whoever it may be, everyone is introduced and everyone welcomes each other, and it's just voluntarily. It's that to me speaks a lot about the culture and the professionalism and how welcoming everyone is. In addition to that, it's great that our headquarters have been very supportive and allowing us to try new things and try ventures such as our roadshow vehicle, which obviously we'll bring up very shortly, but do things differently. And we rebranded last year, new Goodwe logo, as you can see. Mirrored, forgot. And the tagline is the smart energy innovator, and I think they're trying to take that word innovator and not just apply it to products and technology, but other things as well.
Well, to be fair, and even the fact you've just mentioned the people culture, I mean, it is the last thing I'd have assumed that would exist in a global corporate culture. I mean, I know that through COVID, every corporate organization has had to soften to an extent to be able to be more open to like working from home and to supporting the the mental health impacts that all these things have naturally had, and which has been absolutely fantastic to see. But when you're considering a global organization with as many individuals working for it as Goodwe has, it's just refreshing to see that actually does exist on that global level. Aside from that point, I mean, for anyone who doesn't know Goodwe, this is the first time they've obviously heard about your brand. I mean, that'd be hard to imagine. But at the same token, the industry is you only know if you explore the industry. Tell us a little bit about Goodwe as a business and what technology you guys actually offer.
Well, just while we're on that point of people and the size of the organization, when I joined, the company was just over 3,000 strong in terms of staff. It's now over 4,600 strong. And that's just in like a year and a half. So you can see like the rate of growth, but yet they still retain that sort of personal, supportive atmosphere, which is fantastic. So Goodwe, obviously China-based company in terms of manufacturing, but a global company on the Shanghai Stock Exchange. And we provide solutions, really. We've got the largest inverter range on the market. But added to that, we're trying to provide a complete solution for residential, commercial, and utility scale clients. So whether that's through energy storage, low voltage, high voltage, EV chargers, even our new division for BIPV, built-in photovoltaics. So we've got numerous new solutions for commercial rooftops, so a lightweight commercial panel. And we also have an integrated roof tile as well to replace traditional solar panels. So anyone wants a really seamless, understated look, they can have solar tiles integrated within their rooftops. And the great thing is that's all done in-house as well. The R&D department is over 850 people now. So they're really investing into the future of the technology, constantly looking at new ways to improve things, really priding ourselves on service and the quality of the product. And yeah, just being a one-stop shop, really. So yeah, that's Goodwe in a nutshell. But on top of that, we're trying to explore new ventures, new ways of doing things, new ways of communicating to the market, and just trying to become that household names. Like when people think of solar solutions and a high quality, reliable, but yet affordable solution, Goodwe is the answer.
And that's what I think, we have a lot of solar power retailers around the country as our partners. And as you know, we sort of connect them to consumers looking to go solar. And I think one of the things a lot of our retail partners, in fact, it's actually quite interesting. More recently, over the last, maybe 4 to 6 weeks, we've connected a number of our retailers with different people wanting to go solar, and a few celebrities as well wanting to have solar power in their homes. And I think on at least 50% of the jobs, if not more, to be honest, Goodwe technology is being used on those installations. And I'm like, well, look, you could install any equipment you like. Why are you just choosing Goodwe? And they just love your technology. So from a solar power retailer's point of view, it's very reliable. It's great tech. And I think one of the biggest things I've also found out more recently as to what influences a retailer to choose certain equipment is the relationship and the accessibility of the team. So if there is ever an issue, or if there is ever any sort of problems, or they require some additional technical support, Goodwe's team is there. It's not like they have to go through an email chain or call overseas and wait patiently. It's immediate. And it's that peace of mind that gives retailers confidence to install your equipment. And then from a consumer's perspective, I mean, if the retailer is super confident and comfortable installing that kit, and it is comparative, if not better than a lot of things in the marketplace, then it's an absolute no-brainer for the consumer to say, well, great, go ahead and sort of install that equipment. So I think you've done incredibly well as a brand and as an organization to think about, the whole 360 in the relationship and journey of equipment to consumer, to ensure those boxes have been ticked as well. I think that's amazing.
And that's obviously, we've been speaking on a global scale, but locally as well. When I joined the team, there was about 10 or 12 of us. Now we're nearly 20. So in the past few months alone, we have had investment into our service department. So we've got 2 additional new service members. There was 2 that joined last year as well, which is great. So it really shows that commitment that we want to provide the best possible service to installers and consumers alike. In addition, our sales team is growing, and business development. We've just had another new guy join us who will cover the Queensland area. In addition, we've also had a gentleman named Apollo Chai who's moved over from China to join the Australia team to head up our new BIPV division. So the rooftop solar solution. So we're really trying to focus on supporting the market as best we can. There's Annie, of course, who's joined me in marketing. So yeah, we're really trying to strengthen in all areas. Gopi, of course, with our GE brand, our premium range of GE inverters, and we're growing that area too as well. So yeah, it's a great growth, and yeah, totally respect what you say, and we feel the same way as well. It's all about supporting the local market and providing them what they need.
No, fantastic, mate. Well, look, we can talk about the team and about the tech for hours, but I want to know about Eco Smart Kids, right? So it's another initiative. Innovation is definitely your middle name, and you guys have launched the Eco Smart Kids roadshow and an education program. So I think it's the first time we're mentioning this out loud, at least publicly, and it'll be supported by a whole bunch of other stuff imminently as well. But tell me a little about Eco Smart Kids. where did this idea come from?
Okay, so last year we launched our roadshow vehicle. That was something that I wanted to do for a very long time. I thought even before COVID, but especially after COVID, we saw an opportunity where we could go to more regional areas, take our company to these guys rather than relying on larger gatherings such as All Energy or Span Energy conferences and exhibitions. So I designed the idea. Obviously, I didn't perfect it because I'm not a specialist with the construction, but we created a roadshow vehicle. So it was a custom-made Ford Transit with a custom container on the back, which was self-powered by our energy storage solutions. So it powered the TV, refrigerator, the lighting, etc. But we can also demonstrate power outages as well to consumers and just show that how quickly energy storage kicks in and provides that sort of peace of mind if they have a backup circuit on their home. So that was something that was practical and it could be used for a variety of ways. We've been using it across Australia. It's currently on its way to Perth at the moment. We've been using it for training events, networking and sales events, of course, even consumer home shows as well. So our friends at Exhibitions and Events Australia who do the home shows in Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, and of course Perth. That's been fantastic for us. It's really allowed us to get to speak to the public, allow them to come to us because we're a manufacturer. We're not hard selling. We're not there to sort of like sell, give you the prices. We're there to answer any questions because we found the consumers doing a lot more homework these days. They want to know where their investment's going, what it can do for them, and we can just provide general information. And if they think, great, they got the help that they need, if they decide to choose Goodwe, so be it. We've done our job. But it's a real opportunity for people to have that sort of, I don't have to feel like I'm cornered and being forced into buying this brand. It's just a way of like, okay, can you tell me about solar? What's right for me? How do I go about it? Yeah. So following that, we thought there was a way of approaching a new audience. So we thought, let's get out to the communities. Let's try for a younger audience. Now, back in the UK, I did something with the Criminal Justice Board, where they wanted to do a community outreach program each year, and they wanted to tell families and communities how the Criminal Justice Board worked, and that was comprising of the prison service, courts, police, various different entities. So what I did was create an information leaflet in the style of a comic book, like a graphic novel kind of thing, and add a competition to that so the kids could get creative and think, okay, you come up with something that shows how it how something that could protect your community or help your community. And that was really good because it engaged the kids and therefore in turn the families. And there was something positive. The kids learned something and there was prizes involved, all that stuff. And I saw an opportunity to utilize that concept and develop it into something for the solar industry. So what I've developed is Eco Smart Kids, which will be a roadshow tour. It will trial pilot program here in Victoria. We'll go around to a network of schools, primary schools, and we'll take our roadshow vehicle and we will teach them. We've got a series of animated interactive workshops that will help inform and then hopefully inspire them about climate change, helping the environment, not just recycling, things like, you know, what to look out for bushfires, how you can save on your electricity bills at home, you know, safe practices like turning off things, you know, power switches, things of that nature. And also how renewable energy works, like not just solar, but wind and hydro. And then, yeah, just tell them, like, because pretty much everyone's seen solar panels on roofs, and we think, like, this is an opportunity to tell kids, like, this is how we get energy from the sun and how it helps your schools, communities, your homes, all that sort of stuff. And on the back of that, we'll add a competition, and it will be completely open-ended to their creativity, whether they're into creative writing, art, music. If they're practical or engineering in mind, they could come up with an invention, anything that promotes a positive environmental message. And it's all positive. It's all been developed with educational professionals. So I've written the program. I've liaised with teachers and educational institutes to say, okay, is this right for this age group? Is it informative enough? Is it too high level? We want to really make sure that kids get the right messages from it and it doesn't go over their heads, or it's not sort of like, yeah, I know this already. We want kids to get something out of it. And in turn, if they show their families, even better. And yeah, the competition is just a way to help inspire the kids even more, get their creative juices flowing, and just do something fun. So yeah, we'll have prizes for the winners of each school, but the overall winner of each school will go into a championship, which is where you come in, Roshan, because I believe you've kindly accepted to join our judging panel, which will also include other representatives from ourselves, Home Show, and others. And we'll judge the overall finalists and pick first, second, third for the championship. And that will be done at a awards event at the August Melbourne Home Show. So it'll be a really cool thing with James Treble hosting, the TV host, who I believe you know very well. And we'll have some great prizes and trophies on offer. There'll be vouchers for Zoos Victoria, some amazing prizes for Officeworks, some really fun stuff. And yeah, we just hope that everyone gets something out of it. And it's just a really fun, innovative experience that hopefully, it carries on, and we can take it further afield into state. We can do it on a larger scale, even globally, perhaps.
Absolutely fantastic. And look, I was lucky enough to have a sneak preview at the program, and I must say, I mean, as a father to a 12-year-old, I was very inspired by what I saw. I mean, the fact is, it's very much catering for, young kids getting older and understanding the foundation towards the differences that can be made to energy consumption, to, reducing your carbon footprint, and to making a difference in a really fun and creative and educational way. So you've absolutely nailed it, to be fair. Let's just play a quick clip. Obviously, I'm not allowed to show too much, but I've just put together a few little moments there, which also includes a most recent roadshow that you guys did as well. So a couple of photos from that.
Forget superheroes. You can all help with climate change, protect the environment, and be the real heroes. This goes for you, your family, your school, and communities. Everyone can play their part.
And there were just a few photos of the most recent roadshow. Where was that roadshow? Can you say or not?
Yeah, that was Trinity Grammar School. So we want to do a trial to get feedback and correct anything that we've felt needed to be corrected or perfected. And it was great because we got a lot of feedback from the teachers and the kids themselves. The level of engagement and enthusiasm from the kids blew us away. That was something I found from the thing I did back in the UK. I think kids they know a lot more than you think. They've got some great insights into things. They think differently. They see things differently, and they can constantly surprise you, which I think is one of the reasons I wanted to do this, because I think it'd be really interesting to see what the generation of tomorrow comes up with, what their minds think about when they think of helping the environment or helping climate change or renewable technology. But yeah, no, it was a great experience. We took the roadshow vehicle there, the Smart Innovation vehicle. Really great afternoon. We could have spent hours there. The kids just so engaged. They wanted to give feedback, answer things. We have interactive sort of Q&As in between each workshop, and we were just blown away by their response. That was great feedback for us. And now we're gearing up to launch this in term 3. So we'll do the tour of schools across Victoria. The best part about it is obviously it's low carbon footprint. There's no paper involved. So if we can't get the vehicle to the schools for whatever reason, we can still deliver the workshop digitally via obviously audio visual equipment. So that in turn obviously all helps as well. We can't wait to get going, and looking forward to the awards ceremony.
I am absolutely buzzing for the awards ceremony. So, and thank you very much for asking me to be a judge. I'm very privileged, and looking forward to seeing what the kids come up with. It's going to be it'll be interesting. I like how when you were sort of describing it to me, they could come up with poems, and I, as a young man, used to love writing poems. Not so much anymore.
Really?
But to be fair, I'll be very interested to see what people come up with. It'll be awesome. Now on the home show, I mean, we both love home shows. Really, it's inspired me to see Goodwe being so really taking on home shows as a way of getting to consumers. As you know, with Energy Matters, we've worked on a whole bunch of different TV shows over time, and you guys have been fantastic and support those TV shows and partners on Open Homes Australia, which was on recently, and you'll be on Renovate or Rebuild, which goes to air in sort of February next year, which is all aimed at really introducing the consumer audience to different types of technology and making them aware of what's actually available, so they can sit for themselves and understand what it does and how it will positively affect their energy and their carbon footprint. I guess from your point of view, I mean, we're very used to seeing energy orientated exhibitions, which seems to be more geared towards the industry itself. I mean, you're one of the few brands I've actually seen at the home shows. I mean, how important is a home show to your overall marketing strategy, and why is it that you do it?
I think it's vital. Again, I think I mentioned it earlier. I think consumers at this stage, with the rise of energy prices, obviously, and I think with the development of energy storage technology, safe energy storage technology, that consumers are really thinking about the future, how they can best make use of the solar system. If they've already got an existing solar system, if they got one of the ones many years ago, which was very undersized, and it's just not suitable for their needs anymore. We see a lot of consumers maximizing their rooftop space. Obviously, I think we've noticed in the industry, the average installation size is increasing. It's heading towards 10 kilowatts of standard, obviously depending on the rooftop space. But yeah, again, we think that there's a need there to help be a reliable resource for the public, to allow them to ask those questions without fear of being sort of like cornered or like, this is the only brand for you. Obviously, there are some great brands out there and there's a lot of choice. But yeah, that's what we want to do. That's why I want to utilize this roadshow vehicle, get it out there and allow as many people as possible, if they've got any questions or any sort of misconceptions or worries or predicaments, like what do I do? Do I need to add to my rooftop space, add to my existing system? Do I need to rip it out, start again? Is energy storage right for me? What does the future look like? Do I need to get an EV charger now? All those sorts of scenarios. Yeah, we can hopefully advise them accordingly and help guide them on their way.
No, which is absolutely fantastic. And I think from our point of view, I mean, the reason we're such an advocate for going direct to consumer and educating consumers, if you consider, I mean, I've been in solar power now since 2009 and energy since 1999. But even if you just go from me being in solar power for the last 14 years in Australia, in that time, we've only seen an adoption rate of maybe 30%. When DVDs came out of VHS, I mean, almost every single home had a DVD within months. When plasma screen TVs came out, in respect to the big boxes that we used to use, once again, within 12 months, everyone probably had a plasma screen TV. So the adoption rate for technology is so high in so many things, like mobile phones, for example. But then when you look at solar power, which is something that would actually create your own power station for your home and not take you off grid, but, do some serious damage to your power bill and certainly deliver a very quick return on investment comparatively, to only have had 30% adoption over this length of time shows there's a lot of fear in the eyes of the consumer. And unfortunately, a lot of that fear comes more from misrepresentation in terms of how renewable energy works and really, casts a shadow over, well, am I being ripped off if I get solar power? Is it really going to help me? We all know from a science perspective that, of course, it helps. We know from a financial perspective that it ridiculously helps. So there's absolutely no reason why someone shouldn't go solar if they can, if they've got the roof space and, there's going to be some sun coming onto that roof at some point of the day. But really, it's the fear, I think, that really stops consumers. So I'm a massive advocate, as you know, for anything that's consumer driven. And I just think the home shows, I mean, once again, you guys are ahead of the curve, because I was having the chat to Maritza, who, is awesome colleague of both of ours who runs the home shows, and you introduced me to. And I was just bemused as to how few people have taken your lead and promoting themselves there. So hopefully we'll see an increase in that, because I think it'll just make a massive difference to consumer confidence and help.
Yeah, because there's still a lot of worry there. There's still a lot of people worried about battery technology. There's still a lot of people believing that, it's all a con, and you're going to get those conversations, you're going to get those comments, especially on social media. And unfortunately, some people just can't be swayed. You can't force anyone to change their mind. They've got to do it themselves. The best thing we can do is help educate and inform, and just say, look, this is what it is. The technology is constantly evolving. It's a lot different than what it was 10 years ago. And that's the nature of new technology. It evolves. It gets better and better and better, more efficient. It gets better in terms of manufacturing. Like at Goodwe are moving into a new manufacturing facility next year, which will be vastly powered by our own solar system and energy storage to really try and lower our carbon footprint. And I'm sure other brands are doing exactly the same thing as well, which is great, because it obviously helps to show, like, look, we're trying to make our carbon footprint as low as possible, and the cost of making these products as low as possible to the environment. And I think that's just the nature of the beast. I mean, you look at, like, for instance, car technology. The stuff that came out of the exhaust pipes in cars in the previous decades, and now you get such efficient, clean technology with car engines, combustible engines, and move into EVs as well. It's going to happen. It's going to get better with the solar industry as well.
Completely. It's actually a very it's an incredible time to be alive and to actually witness, the transition we're going through. So I'm grateful to have been born where we've been born, John. I like to be cryogenically frozen and then wake up in 500 years and see where we're at, and hopefully there is still a planet, and we made a difference. We'll have to wait and see. Absolutely. But for anyone watching, if you are in Melbourne between the 25th to the 27th of August, then pop down to the Melbourne Home Show. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. It kind of runs like one series in the front part of the year and then repeats again on the back half of the year. So no matter what time of the year you're actually, wherever you are, there is a home show in most of the major cities around the country. And they're awesome. They're absolutely fantastic. And obviously you'll see the Goodwe truck, which is wicked. The Smart Innovation Vehicle has to be seen. And look, the Melbourne one will be awesome. So we'll be judging the Eco Smart Kids, and seeing some incredible exhibits and some pieces of work that they've actually created and delivered. So very excited for that.
Absolutely. We'll have a digital gallery as well, so the public will be able to see the finalists and the entries of the kids, a recap of the program as well, so they can see exactly what we're up to, see some of the visits and things in action. And then, so the public will be able to see that throughout the home show. And we're hoping to have a few fun things for kids visiting the show as well. For anyone who wants information and updates, we'll have a website. I believe it will be ecosmartkids.com.au as a reference page to see how things are progressing. We'll obviously post things on our social media, and likewise, the home show team will do the same for the Melbourne Home Show. And for anyone who's interested in tickets, visit melbournehomeshow.com.au. And I believe they will have, I think it's Eco Village or Sustainability Village. So not just solar, but there'll be a vast array of other eco-friendly products and services and companies on show as well. It's a really fun show. It's well worth checking out.
It is. It actually is a fun one. So go along if you can. John, look, thank you very much for your time today, mate. I do appreciate it. I know you're very, very busy. And it's been awesome to have you on here today, and just to find out more about you. I always thought you were a legend, but even more of a legend than you were half an hour ago. And I'm just really, really excited to catch up next, and obviously,
I'll give you that $10 after we go off there, mate.
It is 20.
Okay.
Good man. All right.
Thank you very much for having me, mate.
You're very, very welcome. So that before we finish off, guys, if you have yet to go solar power, do not despair. You still can. All right. We've got hundreds of awesome solar power retailers across the entire country who are ready, willing, and able to quote you on solar power with the latest technology, including Goodwe stuff. So if you are keen to at least get a quote to see if your home or your business is viable in your eyes to go solar, then certainly jump onto our website at energymatters.com.au and submit a request for a quote. Likewise, if your energy bill is horrific, we are working with a number of different energy retailers out there to get the most competitive rates for electricity and gas. So by all means, jump onto our energy comparison and see if you can at least save a few dollars, which if you have yet to go solar, can then go towards the cost of a solar system. Feel free to follow us and subscribe to our social media channels and jump onto our website. And look, once again, if you can make the Melbourne Home Show, please do. It is awesome. It's a fun event. Guys, thank you very much for joining us this week. We'll see you next time. All the best.